Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. In this video, we're gonna talk about Module 1, Ethical Hacking Overview. Now, by the end of this lecture, you're gonna learn about the role of ethical hacker, describe what you can do legally as an ethical hacker, and what you cannot do as an ethical hacker. Now, what is ethical hackers? Usually, ethical hackers are security professionals who use their skills to help organizations identify and fix vulnerability. They do this by simulating real-world attacks on organization systems and networks. They usually known as the white hat hackers. So basically, they get hired by companies to perform penetration testing to find vulnerabilities and provide them with the report. Now, penetration test is attempt to break into company's network to find weak links, Uh, you know, there's another name they call the pin test. It's basically a simulated cyber attack that is, conducted by professionals. The aim is usually to identify and exploit security vulnerabilities in organization system and network. Now, vulnerability assessment is is a process of identifying and assessing security vulnerabilities in organization, system, and networks. It can be done manually, through some professionals, or it can be done using automated tools like Nessus. Now, the security test here is a broad term that combine or contains a variety of security related activities such as penetration testing, vulnerability assessment, and security. Now, hackers access computer system or network, without, authorization by by the system owner, which is this considered as a breaking the law, and they can go to prison if they get caught. Now, crackers, they break into the systems to steal or destroy data. Usually the US Department of Justice labels all illegal access to a computer or network as hacking. Finally, the ethical hacker performs most of the same activity as a hacker does, however, with the permission. You need to pay attention that ethical hackers play an important role in helping organizations improve their security by identifying and fixing security vulnerabilities before they can be exploited by malicious attackers. Ethical hackers can help to protect the organization from data breaches, financial losses, and other negative consequences. Now, what about script kiddies? Okay, well, script kiddies basically, you need to think about them as unskilled individual who uses scripts or programs others, they developed primarily for malicious purposes. Script kiddies are often motivated by a desire to impress their peers or to gain bad reputation in some cases, you know. So basically, those script kiddies, they use the tools and they have no idea how it works from inside, how it functioned from, or how it has been programmed. They only know how to use it, you know. Now, however, we should not underestimate script kiddies, because they can cause damage to systems and networks, they might not be able to cause as much damage as more experienced hackers, but they can still cause significant damage to systems and networks. You know, so, script kiddies may spread malware, may disrupt services, such as websites or online gaming, by launching denial of service attacks. Now, there are good programs or script used by experienced pen testers, to carry out attacks or to carry out testing, like Python, Ruby, Perl language, and C. You know, usually the experienced pen testers use variety of programs and scripts to carry out, those stuff. But the most popular one right now is Python. However, in addition to programming languages, experienced pen testers also use a variety of other tools and resources. This can include like vulnerability scanners like InMap, NASes, to identify, those vulnerabilities in the target system. Exploitation frameworks such as Metasploit can also be used to exploit the vulnerabilities. Reporting tools can be used to generate reports of penetration testing findings as well. Now, hacktivists, a person who hacks computer system for political or social reasons. So it's basically the idea or the purpose behind hacktivism is to achieve a political or social goal. Hacktivists are often motivated by desire to bring attention to a particular cause or issue. They could protest against government or corporate policies or to promote social change here. you know a good example of those the anonymous, which is used to be a decentralized group of hackers who have been involved in a wide range of hacktivism activities, including defacing websites, uh, launching DOS attacks, and releasing confidential information. Pen testers, those guys are cybersecurity professional who simulate cyber attacks on a computer system or network to test its security, basically. You know, their goal is to identify and exploit vulnerabilities in the system so it can be fixed later on. Now, the role of the security or the pen tester or the job requirements here might include like performing vulnerability attack and pen assessment, again, for internet, intranet, wireless environment. They do discovery and scanning, looking for any open ports and services. They need to identify those open ports and services that should not be available according to the security policy, and they need to apply appropriate exploits, in order for them to see if they can gain access, and probably they want to see if they can expand access as necessary as well. Now, they could also participate as a pen tester in activities, like application source code review if they have a strong programming background. They could interact with the client as required, throughout the engagement. They could produce reports, documentation, stating what has been discovered during the engagement. They could do debrief with the client at the conclusion of each engagement. They could participate in research and provide recommendations for continuous improvement. You know, they could also participate in the knowledge sharing, through lesson learned, through meetings, stuff like that. Demonstrate a good understanding of the current country, state, and city cyber laws. This is extremely important. You need to be aware of that. Now, in addition to this, the things that I just mentioned, requirement, some employers might require candidates to have like a certification in penetration testing, like, ethical hacking or, offensive security certified professional, OSCP. They could, have experience in specific security tools or technologies. And in some cases, some of them, they might have secret or top secret clearance as well. Now, let's look at also try to understand the difference between white box model, black box model, and here we have the gray box model. Now, in the white box model, the most comprehensive type of penetration test, in this type of model, the pen tester is given full access with full information to the target system configuration, could be configuration, source code, or any other internal information. Uh, this allows the pen tester to identify and exploit vulnerabilities that would not be possible to find using black box testing. White box testing is a good option for organizations that are concerned about the security of their sensitive data. You know, Also, they can be given permission to interview IT personnel and company employees. Uh, you know, of course, this job, the white box makes the job a lot easier, because when it comes to black box model, the staff is not aware of the test. And the tester are given no information, no details about the technology, the system, the operating system they're using. So there will be a lot of work on the pin tester to figure out the information, collect information, you know. However, this type of thing requires very good knowledge and experience, the black box testing is a good option, by the way, for organization that you want to get a general assessment of their security status situation. Okay. So the other one is called the gray box model, which is a hybrid of white and black box. They get just the partial information, you know, a very limited number of information about the target system. This might include, like, for example, system IP addresses, host names, operating system, again, very limited information. It can be a good option for organizations that want a more thorough assessment of their security situation than black box testing, but they do not want to provide the pen tester with the full access to system source code or full configuration information about the system they have. Now, let's look at the different type of certification program available in many types of vendors here. The minimum certification I would strongly recommend to go for Security Plus certification. Uh, you know, I would also recommend to have, if you want to start this career, start in CompTIA Network Plus, okay, and then jump into the CompTIA Security Plus. And of course, there's also another certification by CompTIA Pen Tester Plus. This is more advanced certification, uh, you know, it basically you'll be tested on plan and the scope, understand the legal and compliance requirements, perform vulnerability scanning and penetration testing, analyze data, effectively report and communication result. So these stuff you'll be tested on it. Now, the other one is this is OSCP. This is Offensive Security Certified Professional. This is advanced certification that requires students to demonstrate hands-on abilities to earn their certification. It gives the student experience in developing, buffer overflow. They should learn how to write the scripts to collect and manipulate data, try and exploit unavailable system. Uh, quite frankly, this to earn the OSCP, candidates must complete a 23-hour exam that simulates a live network in a private VPN, which contains a small number of vulnerable machines. You know, the candidates must successfully attack and penetrate all these machines on the network. So think about it this way, by the way, the OSCP is a hands-on certification that requires candidates to have a deep understanding of the penetration testing methodology, tools, and techniques. It's basically designed to test candidates' ability to think creatively and strategically to identify and exploit vulnerabilities. And those are one of the certification that I really, really encourage you to go for it. Now, some tips for preparing for this type, uh, you will take this offensive security penetration testing with Kali Linux course, They have a course called PWK course. It's a comprehensive introduction to penetration testing. It covers all topics, and of course, I cannot underestimate the practice thing here. You know, that's the best way to prepare for the OSCP exam is to practice penetration testing. Okay, you can practice on your own, or you could join join a penetration testing community. Okay. Now, the other one is Certified Ethical Hacker. It's developed by International Council of Electronic Commerce Consultants, e-consult. It's a multiple choice exam, covers a lot of domains. You know, you could just go to the website and you can read about it. uh, this type of certification covers a wide range of topics, including network security, web application security, wireless mobile security, social engineering, vulnerabilities management, threat intelligence. You know, it's about 4 hours exam that covers all these topics. You know, and it's a multiple choice and can include practical questions. Now, the CISSP, this is the golden standard in information security, but this is geared toward uh, it's more of management type. It's not geared toward technical IT professionals, you know, but it does cover wide range of topics, you know, and the exams are not that easy. It requires a lot of preparation, studying for it. Now, there's the SANS Institute, of course. You know, this is one of the best certification. Sysadmin Audit Network Security SANS Institute offers training and certification through Global Information Assurance Certification. That's one of the top 25, sorry, one of the top IT certifications there. Now, which certification is best? Well, it depends on you. Okay, which one you want. As a start, you should go for CompTIA Network Plus and then Security Plus. And as you gain experience in this, you might jump into the ethical hacking. And then if you have very good experience and you practice a lot in the penetration testing, I would go for OSCP, you know. Uh, so you need definitely a technical skills to perform these duties, as a pen tester, you know. And the only way you could demonstrate the knowledge is by taking certifications that requires more of hands-on, okay, like OSCP, okay. C- the others are, like CompTIA Security Plus or CompTIA Network Plus. Think about it more like a foundation certification that if you start your career in this, So, as a pen tester, you must have good understanding of the networks and the role of the management organization. You should have very good skills in writing and verbal communication, desire to continue learning, Okay. So do not try to memorize terminology only. That's where the mistakes happen. Try to understand the concept. Many questions are not just straightforward. Okay. So now, what you can do legally, laws involving technology changes as rapidly as technology itself. As a pen tester, you should always stay up to date of what's happening in your area. Find out what is legal for you, in your local or in your state. Be aware of what is allowed and what is not allowed. Keep in mind that laws vary from state to state and from country to country, okay. So, like for example, like in some states, the possession of lock picking tools, it constitutes a crime here. Okay. Now, let's say, for example, is sports scanning legal? Some states consider it no, it's fine and it's legal, but not always the case. Be wise before using penetration testing tools. Federal government does not see, any issues, doing like port scanning. It does not violate the Constitution. But again, make sure to understand what the state law concerning the cybersecurity things, and like if you need to go and do some work in other countries, make sure you understand their laws and read it carefully. Okay. And also, you should read your ISP acceptable use policy for using internet services. And this is just an example of acceptable use policy, by the way. You know, uh, like, for example, this company makes no restriction on the usage provided that such usage is legal under the laws and the regulation of the state of Hawaii and United States of America and does not adversely affect the customer. So make sure to read, something like this. Now, the federal computer crime laws, there are several laws here. We're not gonna go over each one of them. For example, the Economic Espionage Act offers a trade secret protection to both businesses and the government. The significance of the information to society and the problems that are attached to protecting this information make the EEA a very important step on how the law can provide protection from computer crime. So that's one. There's also another law, for example, the Electronic Communication Privacy Act. This law makes it illegal to intercept any communication regardless of how it was transmitted. So, as a pen tester, okay, or ethical hacker, or somebody in the security, I think it's a very good idea to become familiar with the law. Now, here we have also the Homeland Security Act of 2002, you know, and this specifies sentencing guidelines for certain types of computer crime. And there's also another one here for Stored Wire and Electronic Communication and Transactional Records Act. Okay. So now, what you cannot do legally, obviously, access somebody's computer without permission, or destroying data without permission, copying information without owner's permission, installing viruses or any type of malware on a network or a computer, denying user access to network resources or services. So stuff like this considered illegal. Now, if you want to do some work in any company, okay, the first thing you need to do is to have a contract. This is something that's very important because contract is a legally binding agreement between two or more parties. It outlines the terms of the agreement, such as work to be done, the payment to be made, and the responsibilities of each party. Contract can be helpful in the businesses for many, many reasons. Like, I mean, for example, I could say it can help to prevent disputes. When both parties agree to the terms of the contract, it is less likely that there will be disagreements, you know, as you progress in the work. It can provide a framework for resolving disputes. If a dispute, if a dispute does arise between you and your customer, the contract can provide a way to resolve it. You know, it can be used to enforce the terms of the agreement. If one party does not fulfill their obligations under contract, uh, then in this case, the other party may be able to take a legal action to enforce the contract. So, but also this is something else. Like if you decide to work as an independent contractor, it is important to have a contact with your client as well. Not only between company and another company. And if you want to get more, if you like interested in becoming an independent contractor, there are a couple of books. It was. Uh, Advised by the publishers of this book. You're welcome to take a look at it and read it. Okay. And of course, it goes without saying, any contract must be read by an attorney. Now, so basically, the skills needed to be a security tester is the knowledge to have knowledge about network and computer technology. You need to be aware Okay, like about switches, routers, different computer technology. You need to have an excellent communication skills here also to communicate with different type of people, starting from IT personnel to the management. You need to have a good understanding of the laws applicable in your location, ability to apply necessary tools and to perform your task. And I mean, okay, by the way, when we talk about, the technical skills, I'm not only limiting it to network and computer. You should also have a good knowledge about application security as well, including operating system security, like, how to secure Windows, how to secure Linux and Mac, and you should have also very good problem solving skills. You know, you need to be able to think creatively and strategically to identify and exploit those vulnerabilities. They should be able, as you should be able to think outside the box and come up with new and innovative ways to attack system. You know, of course, should have good attention to details. You know, that's very important. You should be able to identify even the smallest vulnerabilities. And you should have ability to work independently or as a part of the team. Usually people work in the team, but in some situation you might end up working, you know, alone. You should be able to handle this task on your own. Okay. So, in addition to the above skills, security testers may also need to have experience with a lot of tools, like become familiar with the tools that it's used by the pen testing company. If they use specific tools like automated tools, you need to become comfortable with it. So, in some cases, you might be required to apply for clearance, such as secret or top secret clearance. It all depends on the type of job that you would get. Now, so finally, okay, we did talk about the role of ethical hacker, and we did talk about what things can be done legally. We went over some of the laws, and I just want to say thank you so much for listening.